Hi, thanks so much for joining us. I'm so glad you guys are here. We are having just a small technical difficulty, so hang out. Let me know where you're joining from, and we will figure this out and be right back with you.
No. There you go.
Okay. Good. Did it just go black?
It did.
No problem. Okay. There. Okay. Stay. Okay.
There you go. Good.
Excellent. Okay. Hello, everyone. It's Angela with Mid-Modern Mama, and I have a special guest here today, Holly.
Hello.
Holly is my partner in Owl and Ember, and she is our graphics guru and an amazing, super fabulous friend. And so Holly is here too, and we're so glad that y'all are all with us. We are talking, I know it's Halloween, and happy Halloween, but we are talking today about planning for the holiday season because in my world anyway, planning for the holidays begins tomorrow. And so what better opportunity than to get started today and talk about planning for the holidays. So Holly, will you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about where you are and what you're doing and what your holiday season will look like?
Yeah, so my name's Holly. I live in the Bay Area in California. I have a 3-year-old son, so life is always chaotic and full of mystery and wonder. But the thing that's been really cool this year is that he has been more and more aware of all of the holidays that are coming up. So he finally understood what his birthday was, and Halloween has been really fun for him. So I'm really looking forward to him actually getting involved in all the Christmas stuff this year. So, and Thanksgiving and stuff like that. But of course, kids are always excited about Christmas. So, Angela and I met. Oh my gosh, it's been
a long time.
2008, I think, is when we first met. So it's been a while, and we've both moved on from that job, but we've stayed in touch and have been doing projects together here and there for a while. And now we're trying to go all in on using Owl and Ember as an opportunity to help people be more creative and to do some planning and journaling. And so, yeah, we're hoping that this little live event will help you to start thinking about planning for the holidays, which is something I'm not very good about. So I'm here to learn from Angela, just like you, and hopefully, we can all get a good start to the holidays.
Absolutely. So Holly and I both have kids. We have busy lives, and we both have come from careers that when kind of November and December were incredibly busy. I started first as a teacher and then I ended up working in a church. And in both of those circumstances, November and December were so busy making the holidays fabulous for other people. And I found myself kind of losing the joy that I once experienced at Christmas, that it was just about being busy instead of really, truly being joyful. And whether you celebrate Christmas or Kwanzaa or Hanukkah or nothing at all, we know that this is a busy time of year for a lot of people. And so I actually developed a planner, which we're going to use today, but you could plan for the holidays in any way. And we're going to show you some tips and some techniques that are available to you for planning. And we're really excited to do that. But these are things that you could use in any planner. And there are lots of supplies. Down at the scroll at the bottom, I have listed some of my favorite planner supplies. There's washi tape in there. There's this cute little Ivy Canon printer that I'll show you. I love using this, for example. There are some of my favorite pens. Planning can be as simple as a pencil and a piece of paper, and it can be as complicated as using stickers and doing what's called decorative planning. And there's kind of everything in between. I do a little bit of decorative planning, but it is not, I don't go quite as artistically amazing as some people. If you cruise Instagram, you'll find incredible decorative planners who do some really amazing things. But I'm going to show you kind of basic decorative planning. And Holly and I were talking, and she was like, I really just need to plan more because this is something that's really important. And it helps when you're a mom. And it really does. It helps to make sure that you are having some time to breathe during the holiday season. So let's get started. So the planner we're going to use today is one that I created called the Nice List. It's actually available on my website. The link is down below, midmodernmama.com. And it's available on my website. But this is, you could use these techniques in any planner. We happen to have the Nice List with us. And the Nice List comes in, there's kind of two volumes. There's the Christmas Workbook, and then there's the Nice List all year. And they work together really well. The Christmas Workbook is something that you would want every single year. And then the Nice List all year will last you years in a row. And then we have created these little, they're designed to fit in a traveler's notebook, a traveler's journal cover. And so we actually created these and upcycled them out of past year's Nice Lists. But you could use any traveler's notebook cover that you wanted to. And I am falling in love with this traveler's notebook format. It's really amazing because you just stick a small binder in, and you can have multiple notebooks inside a traveler's notebook. I will stick some traveler's notebook covers in the scroll down below, so you can find a couple. There are a bunch of options available, but I'll stick a couple in there. But anyway, one of the most important things about planning for the holiday season, I think, is getting things set up. And tomorrow is the first day of November. And so, Holly, let's get our calendars set up.
Okay, let's do it.
I think that's a good place to start. Yeah. So these calendars are undated, and there are lots of traveler's notebooks. If some of you are, let me know in the comments what you do. Maybe some of you are bullet planners. Oh, goodness. And you set up your own calendars that way. But I think I always start with a good calendar. That is a great place to start. And of course, November this year starts on a Monday.
Okay, let's do it.
So let's
November
put in our
has,
dates.
what, 30 days in it?
Yes.
And if you had planned ahead, you could probably find stickers that are, you could get number stickers too, that
Yes.
your own handwriting. It's definitely one way to do it.
Yeah. Or if you I just did 21 twice. 22. There we go. Can't talk and number at the same time.
So what day should we end on? Make sure we're both.
It should be on a Tuesday, I think.
All right. I ended on a Tuesday. So
excellent.
We're good.
So one of the things that I do as a planner is that I sit down at the end of a month, or sometimes it's the beginning of the next month, and I really take a month view of what is coming. So for example, we're going to know that here in the United States, we're going to have Thanksgiving on the 25th of November. So I'm going to put that in. And I will tell you, I am also kind of obsessive about color coding. So I use these Papermate Flair pens. They're really inexpensive. And they come in a whole variety of colors, and I love them. They don't bleed through paper. They make a nice fine line. I don't feel like my handwriting looks weird with them. But I also like to use lots of color on my calendars personally.
And they don't bleed through, right?
Right. So Thanksgiving is on the 25th. And of course there will be Black Friday sales after Thanksgiving. So that's another thing you could put on your calendar when you're thinking about shopping.
Black Friday, Cyber
Monday, Small Shop Saturday, all of those things.
Now, Small Shop Saturday is the Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it'll be the 27th. Yep. So, laying things out. So, like, we have our family pictures on the 7th for our Christmas cards. So I'm going to put that down. And I don't know about you, what you and your family do, Holly, but I will say my husband and I, sometime before Thanksgiving, we will sit down together with our calendars and we will put out all of our responsibilities and obligations on one calendar. And we actually post that in the kitchen so that everybody in the family knows. And one of the things that we plan when we get over to the December calendar, for example, most of that stuff doesn't happen in November in my family. Though I will say the Saturday after Thanksgiving is usually when we put up the Christmas tree. So we even plan things like that. Like, when are we going to bake specific cookies? And when are we going to have a big gift wrapping extravaganza and wrap all the presents?
Right.
I even put down, when do all the packages need to be mailed? We live kind of far away from most of our family, so most gifts have to go in the mail. And so all of that stuff goes down on a calendar, and we sit and plan that out. What about you guys?
Well, like, what kinds of things do we...
What do you plan? How do you plan out your time for the holidays?
That's the thing. Like, that's where this would really come in handy.
Okay.
Like, I think the thing that we mostly plan out is like the big family stuff. Especially now, being, of course, we've been married for 9 years, so we've been doing this for a while. But now with our son, it's a little more important to make sure that we see both sides of the family. Yeah, and we want to make sure that everybody feels like they're getting, a good amount of time, and then they're not being second fiddle and all of that. So we try to plan that stuff out a little bit further in advance, just so we all know kind of what our plans are for the day of,
Sure.
but or like around that time. We tend to do like a New Year's card that we send out instead of a
Mhm.
Christmas card. And we double those as thank you notes. So we'll have like on one side it'll be the picture that all the pictures of the family from the year, and then on the other side we'll write a thank you note for whatever gifts that we received over Christmas.
That's a wonderful idea. I
Yeah.
love that.
So we don't generally like get pictures taken specifically for a card, but we'll just take some of our favorite photos over the year, put those on one side, have them printed with Shutterfly or something like that, and then just use that as the thank you card, and then of course send it to other people who who might not have given us a gift specifically, but people that we want to keep in touch with or whatever. And then we'll send those out as well.
I love that. Thank you note idea. That's fantastic.
So then you're killing two birds with one stone, right? So
right.
Sending out the card, the annual, like, here's what's going on in our lives card, but then it's also a thank you card at the same time. So you only have to do it once, so twice.
That is brilliant. Really brilliant.
Whatever you can do to limit the number of times that you have to send something to people.
Oh, totally. I find personally that if I don't have professional pictures taken, I will go a whole year and not be in any pictures with my family. So we have to do that. But
yeah, my husband is his family is very into taking photos. So I probably have a lot more in the 10 years that I've known him and his family. I probably have more photos in those 10 years of myself than in the previous 30 years.
Well, there you go.
So yeah, it's kind of funny.
Oh.
But yeah, like in terms of, I don't really plan, like if I'm going to do baking for, as a gift or something, I'll maybe plan it like a week or two in advance.
Mm-hmm.
It's not ideal. It's just kind of the reality of my life situation and kind of where things are.
Yeah.
I have to take things one step at a time. It's really hard for me to think about something happening like a whole month out, so let alone 2 months. So this is good for me.
I think my teaching background actually kind of trained me to think about things in a very long-term frame. And so, we sit down as a family after my husband and I have done our calendars. We sit down as a family. And of course, my son is older. He's 10. And so it's a little bit easier now. He has lots of Christmas memories. And so we sit down and we fill out a list of, these are all the things that we want to make sure that happen over the holiday season. And then we schedule them out. So what movies do we want to make sure that we watch? Okay, so let's put those on the calendar. And actually, this is one of the gifts, I think, of the pandemic, that we did not have as many outside activities to do. And therefore, we were just able to schedule family things. And so last Christmas, we had movie nights that were regularly scheduled. We got all of our baking done. But we put all of that down on a calendar, and then we all knew what to expect. So we needed to make sure we had things in the house to make Krumkaka on December the 8th, for example, or, whatever was coming. And that was really helpful. So
that's one thing that I do love about this time of year is like that coziness of being inside, and so baking definitely, or like cooking really rich foods, really goes with that. And, you just kind of, I've always been the kind of person who just wants to stay home and like be snuggly on the couch. But especially this time of year, it just feels so good with the darkness in the outside. And sometimes there's the sound of the rain, and so, having the right ingredients on hand to be able to to make some of those cozy foods, whatever they are, right?
That's so important. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to do one of my favorite things in my planner right now. I have this green washi tape, and there's a whole section at the back where I collect shopping lists, for example. And one of the really easy things, this is something that when I go to the grocery store or go to order groceries, I'm going to need to have my shopping list handy. And so I just take a strip of washi tape and put it on the edge of the start of that section, and then fold it over just like this. And then after I trim this with scissors, it's easy to find that you're not paging through to find that particular thing. So when you're planning, if you do a few little setup things as you're marking pages that you might need as a quick reference, this way it's super easy. And like I have meal planners in here too, which are really handy. They're right by the shopping lists. So, you know, and a baking planners too. So when you have the baking planners and the meal planners, but the thing that you're going to really need to be able to find fast is that shopping list. And I'll see if you can see it. When you try to hold it up to the camera the right way.
Yeah, you can see it.
You
right
can
there.
see that green edge.
Flipping through it, it goes straight there probably.
Exactly, right? Exactly. And some of those pages that you need to find in a planner that are really fast, I will tell you that in my my daily planner, which is on the other side of the room, so I'm not going to grab it. But I have multiple pages marked like that. That's one of my favorite planning techniques, is to have pages that are marked out like that. One of the other things that I love to do in my planner is to put stickers in. And I swear to you, this is like, when I was a kid, I never had enough stickers. And so now I indulge myself and my planner with stickers. But I just absolutely love using stickers. And I think, you know, when you have something with a relatively undecorated cover, like these covers, adding stickers, this Holly actually designed this cute little reindeer. He's so darling, but I'm going to stick him on the cover of my Christmas workbook. Just so fun.
Oh, we gotta put that, so that's like on the front of the inside of our notebook. I just realized we have this thing that says what year it is, so we gotta put down.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So the nice list, I should tell the story of the nice list. One year this was before I had kids. I have four sisters. And we were sitting and I was doing Christmas gifts with them. And two of my sisters opened their gifts at the same time because they were the same thing. And I suddenly realized that I had given them the same gift for Christmas that I had given them previously that same year for their birthday. And I was so embarrassed because I thought, how thoughtless of me not to remember that. So I started the nice list, keeping track of what I gave people and when I gave them. And it has turned into, as my life expanded and my life changed and I had more family to juggle and all of those things, it has turned into making sure that not only was I tracking what was given, but also what is received so that everybody can write thank you notes, and then planning out time and traditions and holiday cards and all of those kinds of things too. But that's actually where all of this started. So just as an interesting tidbit, maybe it's not
Yeah.
interesting, but
Yeah, I love the idea of being able to look back on, and not only just so you can make sure that you don't give somebody the same gift, but like, you know, to remember kind of what they like, and you know, if there's, you know, you want to do like a theme one year and you want to build on that theme the next year, or maybe you've only, you know, spent $2 on their gift last year and you have a little extra money, and so you want to be a little more extra generous, or whatever it is, you know.
exactly.
I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm going to fill out this first little thing in the nice list all year. So I'm going to do that for my son.
Oh, good.
And one of the things that I was just telling Angela before we went live is that we had bought, so my son's birthday is in September, and we had bought way more stuff for him than we should have ever had any business buying for him for his birthday. So, I mean, part of it's just, you know, you get excited about presents, and, you know, you just see all these things that you think he'd love, and then you realize, okay, we really don't need to give him all this all at once. So we put some of these gifts to the side and decided that we would give them to him for Christmas, and, you know, who knows, maybe as, you know, we're doing some potty training right now, so, you know, maybe as like a reward for, you know, using the potty, and so that's something I want to track here is, or at least I guess that would go into the Christmas workbook, is like, what have I already purchased? And where is it in the house? Because at least right now he doesn't know all the, you know, best hiding spots for all the toys and stuff. But as time goes on, I'm sure it's going to get harder and harder to remember where those little hidey holes are. And when the time comes and it's time to wrap the present and put it under the tree, can you find it? So important too. So that's where this thing needs to be kept under lock and key, so the kids don't see what it is you're buying for them. And yeah,
that is so true.
Okay, so I'm just gonna do that. And now, how do you handle, like, when you're filling this out for a toddler?
Mm-hmm.
And you have a thing here for clothing sizes, and you want this to be good for, you know, maybe you put in a 2021, his size is this, and then 2022, his size is that.
Yeah.
Does that sound right?
Yeah.
You've got a growing child as well, so.
And it changes, you know, every 6 months it's different. So, yeah, I think as I set up these pages, like especially for my nieces, I will probably create a column over here. In fact, I might do that right now. And create a column where I track clothing sizes, or under here where it actually says clothing sizes, just put the year and then the size. And that also helps me remember that before I buy anything, I need to check in with my sisters and make sure that my nieces, you know, I know they've grown. So what is the next size? And, you know, especially with little kids, they sometimes grow 3 or 4 sizes in the 6 months between their birthday and Christmas or whatever. So,
right. And then also when you talk about favorites and interests, I mean, Owen's favorite TV show will go from, you know, one thing to the next, like you wouldn't believe.
Right.
And so it's like one day he loves Paw Patrol, and the next day he's watching PJ Masks every day, all day long. So.
Right. So I usually text my sisters, because because I have only nieces, and I usually text them all and say, okay, so I need to know clothing sizes. Like, I'd probably do this tomorrow. Clothing sizes, favorite, interests. In here, I always keep track of like what American Girl dolls they have, and if they're still interested in that, what kinds of things what are their favorite toys. I love keeping track of the books. I have one niece who is just a voracious reader. And so I always try to send her a couple of books, but I've got to stay ahead of her. So, what has she been reading that she's been really loving? Right. That's really important. I'm putting together a whole giving guide on my website, and it has lots of links to all kinds of things, including favorite kids books. I have a whole section on really great kids books to buy, and I'm going to put some of those in Amazon too, and create those lists. But they all come back to Amazon to buy, which is really handy. So I have a bunch of reading lists for the voracious readers in your life. And I'm working on one with chapter books, because now in our house anyway, it's all about the chapter books, and we've kind of made that transition. And so we need a good list of chapter books. The Harry Potter books are incredibly popular, but we've also the Vanderbeekers. Oh my goodness, I can't wait till you guys are reading the Vanderbeekers. They're so great. They're really, really good. And there are a bunch of other really good series too. So
cool.
Yeah. There was the 5th book in the Vanderbeekers series came out in September. And that was very exciting. We pre-ordered it, got it, and started it the very same day. So, and it's always hard at night to just read one chapter. Oh, Mama, could we have more than one chapter?
That's wonderful.
That's really fun. The Vanderbeekers are great. We also love the Penderwicks, and there are some really, really great kids chapter books out there. Really good. What are you guys reading in your family right now?
Oh my. So Owen, he's not a huge reader. We try to do a book at bed. He loves Go Dog Go.
Uh-huh.
We also have a few of these books where they're like personalized. So you have, you can like choose what the character looks like to match your child.
Mm-hmm.
And then they put the kid's name in the book, and customize the book based on the name. And so he kind of reading those. But yeah, Go Dog Go is kind of his like standard, and he's now at the point where he's heard it so many times that he can kind of repeat, or like anticipate what the page is going to say.
That's fun.
Yeah, so that's kind of fun. But he just doesn't have really the attention span right now to listen to a story, Mm-hmm. So, Justin's always listening to audiobooks, and he can go through those like crazy. So I have no idea what he's listening to right now.
Yeah.
And mostly I listen to podcasts, so that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Podcasts are great.
Yeah. But, Justin kind of got me into listening to audiobooks in the car, which has been really nice. So it's a good time to be able to just sort of like, let those kinds of things marinate. But it always has to be like a story and not like a self-help kind of book, because I just can't pay attention that closely to like really take it all in.
Yeah, no, I get it.
But yeah.
I'm doing.
Okay, I think I'm gonna switch back to. Oh, so you're adding more washi.
I'm doing more washi. I'm setting up a bunch of sections here so that I can find them really easily. The November calendar and the December calendar.
I'm gonna add some things to my giving list here. And it's, we of course did this a little backwards in that we've already bought gifts even though we haven't figured out what our budget is going to be.
Yeah, that's never a good thing, but I have done the same thing. In fact, I ordered some stuff yesterday that I was like, oh, these will be great Christmas gifts, and I have not even done my budget yet.
So I'm going to just put one of these little stickers, one of my little present stickers here.
Oh, yeah.
Choose which version of the gifts we're doing on that page. And let's see.
So I know you don't have to worry about this yet, but you will eventually. But I have a tip for all of the parents out there who have to worry about readers and a visit from St. Nicholas. So, and this comes after my niece, who is the voracious reader, found her mother's copy of The Nice List one year and yes, and started reading it several weeks before Christmas. And my sister, of course, freaked out because she had everything written down. And fortunately, her daughter did not read cursive very well yet, so she didn't understand what she was reading, which was good.
So the moral of the story is always write in cursive.
Yes, exactly. Until your kid is capable of reading that. So I take an envelope and I stick it in the back. And I usually just use some washi tape and create what's called a Dutch door. And you can do this anywhere in the book. Like you could in a planner, you can stick it in the middle of pages like this. I use this technique a lot in my planner too. Like if I have receipts from an event, for example, that I want to keep, but I need to keep them with the event, not in a filing cabinet or something like that. Right. I will stick an envelope inside here. And in this case, I'm going to do this in the back. And I think actually I'm going to put this in between these blank pages and just even make it a little more hidden. So then you take some washi tape and you're kind of creating a hinge with washi tape with this envelope. And then you can put notes about your clandestine shopping into the envelope, and you can even seal it, or you can just put a piece of washi tape across the top, which to hold it closed. And that's actually removable, so you can open it and close it, but it looks, nicely sealed.
One more added step of security.
Exactly.
A little bit harder for kids to justify opening the envelope than just opening a book and reading it, right?
Exactly. Exactly. So I feel like that is, it's one of the ways that you can kind of keep that. So then if you need to have a list of the clandestine shopping that you have done or the receipts from said shopping or something like that, this is a great place to keep it. You can also, and I probably will do this after we're done here because I don't want to use spray mount while we're live, but I'll probably use some spray glue and take this envelope and put it in the back, and that'll be a place where I can keep receipts so that like when I'm going out shopping and I get a receipt from something, or I'm buying something online, I can print it off from here if I needed to, or whatever. If a gift receipt comes in a package, I love a good gift receipt. I take them all into that envelope in the back. And you can use washi tape or whatever, but I like spray mount to put it on the back cover like this. And it's a great place to keep those things.
Okay.
That's another, I use envelopes all the time actually in my planner. And I like these little craft paper envelopes. But just a normal white envelope is fantastic. And you can reuse something that's come in the mail. And just open it really carefully and stick it in here. That's a great, easy planning tool.
Now, when I was talking with somebody about our, going into a journal making business or a planner making business, they said, I'm really surprised that for somebody like you who's really into technology and gadgets and things, that you would choose to make a paper planner or use a paper planner. And I didn't really know how to answer that. But I think there's just something about just sort of the analog, like getting your hands in there, and especially with something like this where you're, the whole idea is that you want to think more about what you're doing, and it's not just about, okay, I have to buy a gift and then making a list
right
about buying a gift. It's about finding the right gift.
Yeah.
And I think that, whether you're using something like this or, like you said, just using, your own journal or something, I think using your hands and sitting down with it and taking the time to really figure out meaningfully what it is that you want to be gifting to someone is a really powerful action. And I didn't really know how to answer the question at the time. It was kind of like, I guess that is kind of a weird thing. That we're trying to go into this business of making paper planners and journals when it seems like most everybody else is going towards finding ways to do things digitally. But the thing I find interesting is that now people are doing digital planning that mimics paper analog planning. So it's basically digital stickers and digital washi and photograph and like doing all of that, but in a digital space as opposed to just doing it with your hands on real paper.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of brain research, again, coming from education. I'm really interested in what people are learning about how the human brain works. And there is a decided difference in how much you retain when you physically write it out with a pen or a pencil, and how much you retain if you were taking notes on a computer, for example. And I think that applies to planning too. Our brains have evolved so that we have a good capacity for, there's something about using your hand and actually handwriting that then kind of, it activates certain neurons, and so it activates your long-term memory, which is not the same when you were doing it digitally. So for me, I find that planning on paper is really important to help me remember what I have done and remember like what I need to do. And that's, in my daily life, it's true in the holidays. And I think there is something really powerful about putting it down on paper, and then you can share it with, in my case, the members of my family. And there is something kind of communal about that too. So, I think people who plan digitally, that's totally great. I don't think it'll ever be me though. And in fact, I keep a digital calendar, but every week I sit down and write those things down on my regular planner.
Yeah.
And that's just where I keep things long term. And then when I'm planning out my week and actually planning out my time, I do that on paper.
Yeah.
So
I
I'm
think
kind
for
of
me
both.
too, yeah, I tend to use a digital calendar for kind of like the bigger things, but
Mm-hmm.
like if I was going to sit down and like write out step by step all of the little things that I need to do, I'm not going to make a digital list of that. I'm going to
Yeah.
write it out on a piece of paper or in a planner or something like that. Because, yeah, there's something different. I don't know what it is. There is something definitely different about, and maybe it's like official, you know, I've written it out. It's like on that piece of paper and I cannot take it off of that piece of paper. So it's like, you now have to do these things, right?
Right.
Um,
There,
yeah.
there's
Pretty.
something really powerful too about making a to-do list on paper. Yeah, there's kind of an officialness to it. And it's harder to maybe ignore.
Yeah. I want to see you use that Canon thing.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's so fun. Okay.
Because I might need to get one, but
Yeah.
I you use it first.
So this is the Canon Ivy, and I got it on Amazon. Shockingly, I know.
Surprise.
I know. And there's a little app. So, okay, I'm getting this to the point where you can see it.
So does it connect to your phone via Bluetooth?
Bluetooth.
Or? Okay.
It's so easy. So I have paper loaded in here that is the pre-cut stickers.
Okay.
And the paper comes in packs like this. And so right now I have these circle stickers cut in here, but they come in different shapes. They're 2 inches by 3 inches is the maximum size that these come in. And there are single sheets that are a rectangle, and then there are these pre-cut sheets, and they come in a couple of different configurations. I have these 2 little circles. So my printer just turned itself off, but now. So what you do is you go through and you pick the photographs that you want. I'm going to pick some Christmas pictures. So you pick the photographs that you want. I'm not sure you can see this.
Yeah. Oh, those are. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I just picked some pictures out of some Christmas pictures that we had taken. But they're super easy. And then you just tell it to print. Oh, and it says, please charge the printer. That's not helpful. So let's plug that in. Well, in theory, I would then just print.
So can you plug it? Can you still print while it's plugged in?
You can.
Okay.
It's a matter of having the right cord, and I don't seem to have one right here. I have every other plug under the sun. Always. But then, anyway, I'll pull out a piece of paper so you can see what it looks like, because they're fantastic. This is not a very good demonstration. Sorry, Canon. But
okay.
These are little stickers, and so they're 2 little circle stickers, and they're pre-cut and everything, and it's like a, I hate to say it, but like a Polaroid. So you don't have to have ink or anything like that. It's super easy.
And is it color?
It's color. And they're great.
Wow.
And so like almost every week I print out a couple of stickers to put in my planner. And as I'm setting up the Nice List All Year, so each person in the Nice List All Year gets this 2-page spread, and I'm going to set up probably on this page, be able to put pictures. So like a picture of my niece every year, for example, and put it in a row down here or a column across, something like that.
Yeah.
So that I have pictures of everybody on these pages as I'm recording their gifts and thinking about what I want to give them for the next year and all that kind of stuff. And I could even, on this page, for example, so for my nieces, I usually give them birthday presents and Christmas presents, and then I usually send them a Valentine and maybe something else through the year. So I would write all of those things on here, and I could even put a picture of each of one of those occasions because they're small enough that there's room here for a good number of photographs in here.
Yeah.
You could even take pictures of the things that you buy. If you're more of a visual person and you wanted to have pictures of that, or a great gift wrap job or something like that.
Yeah.
There's lots that you could do that
and
way.
We have some blank pages at the back here. There's a few, not a lot, but maybe at the end of the season, you take some of your favorite for this, this one book that's meant to be done every year. You take some of your favorite photos and you just stick them on sticker paper and fill this out with the memories, right?
Exactly.
And then when you're done, you just put it up on your shelf and, you can look at it again year after year or whatever.
Exactly. So I just wanted to let our viewers know I am having some kind of a technical problem. If there are comments, I am not seeing them. It's not that I'm ignoring them, but they are not showing up on my feed. If there aren't comments, then fine. But if you have made a comment and we haven't addressed it, it's because it's not showing up, and I'm not sure what the problem is, but I can't fix that. So if there is an issue and you have asked a question, be sure you can reach out to me on Instagram. I'm at midmodernmama, or on my website. There's a contact me form at midmodernmama.com, and you are welcome to reach out that way and ask your question if there are comments. But it appears to be frozen on my end, so I am not sure if there are comments or not. So just wanted to let you guys know. All I can see is that Baby Cakes started following us, and thank you very much, Baby Cakes. So I appreciate that. So a couple of other kind of techniques that I wanted to show people as they're starting to think about planning. This is very similar to what we did with the envelope at the back. But if you find that you have a page in your planner where you need extra space, you can do something that's called a French door. And I really love a good French door. So I have some upcycled tablets of paper that make really great French doors. I like them because they're not a full size sheet, but some people like to take a full sheet of paper or something else. But you can just take a piece of paper if you needed on this week, for example. Let's say maybe you're having an event and you need to have another to-do list here. Or this is the week when you're going to do a ton of Christmas shopping or something like that, and you have a list of stores that you need to go to or whatever you're doing. So you can just take some washi tape or use regular tape. And I will tell you that Scotch tape is a little more durable than washi tape. Washi tape is cuter. But in this circumstance, if it's something that you're going to be using a lot, you might Scotch tape it in. Which of course would be invisible, which would be nice too. And then I'm going to trim this so that it's a little tidier on the ends. But I am a big fan of a French door like this. I like them in houses too, but I should say they're Dutch doors, not French doors, Dutch doors. I'm a big fan, but then you just tape it on both sides. And I do put it on both sides, even when I'm using Scotch tape, because it holds it a little bit better. But then you have this short little to-do list that can flap back and forth. And that makes it really easy to add that in. You can also, like, let's say you had an invitation that to a party that you wanted to keep and make sure that you had, or a card that someone sent you, or your Christmas card. You could always put those in this way too. It's a really easy way. And of course, like, this is designed to be a memory book as well as a planner. So I will for sure put our Christmas card in here.
I love the idea of, like, on that calendar section, you know, on whatever week, if there's, like you said, if you have an invitation to a party, or it's, you know, a flyer or something, announcement from your school that's having some kind of an event or whatever, to just kind of, it's not just like sticking it in there and having it fall out. It's kind of putting it in there as part of the book.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One of the ways I use this on a weekly basis is that, like, if I have an order form for something for school, and let's say it's not something I can pay for right then, and take care of right then, I will stick it in as a Dutch door into the week that it's due, so that I'm sure to take care of it by that point. And so when stuff comes home from school and I need to order school pictures or whatever, but it's not something I can take care of right at that moment, I just put it a couple of weeks ahead, and then it's there and it's done, and I'm not going to forget it. I actually have we have election day on Tuesday, and I have my ballot stuck in for next week into my planner. So tomorrow when I open up, or this afternoon when I start to do this week's planning, I will have our ballots there, and I'll be ready to fill them out and go drop them off.
Nice.
So, yeah. Since we live in Colorado, we have all vote by mail, which I absolutely love.
That's how our area is as well.
It is fantastic.
I think you can still go and vote in person if you want, but everybody gets the mail-in ballot.
It's so efficient. It's so fantastic. Yeah. It makes it so easy. So there are all kinds of things that my planner, by the end, when I'm done using it every year, is super chunky because it's full of other stuff too. And then, you know, some of those things I take out and throw away or recycle. But some things I keep as a record in kind of perpetuity of whatever it is. Yeah. So that's another technique that you can use as you're going through and starting to fill out your planner and thinking about it. But I encourage you, as you are thinking about planning this holiday season, you and your husband should sit down with all of your calendars in front of you. And I highly recommend doing it before Thanksgiving, frankly. And plan out the next, month and a half or whatever time period that you feel like kind of encapsulates the holidays for your family.
Right.
And sit down and make a list. These are all the things that I want to make sure that we have time to bake. These are all the movies that I hope we end up watching together as a family. I want to go look at Christmas lights 3 times. So when are we going to do that? If you have concerts to go to, where our family's not doing any of that kind of stuff yet.
Right.
But
the Christmas pageants and
exactly,
and rehearsals and things like that, of course.
All of those things.
And like school, a school show. I know your son is back at school in person, and maybe they'll do some kind of a show or presentation or something,
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I'm not sure what they're going to end up doing. Almost everything that is a group gathering is still on Zoom until all those kids are vaccinated. But
Hopefully soon.
Oh, fingers crossed. Would be so good.
Yeah.
Oh,
We just need to get the littles.
exactly.
The littles done too.
Exactly. But we will sit down and we'll fill all of this out. And I'm thinking about, so like I put up the Christmas tree. That's always the Saturday after Thanksgiving, and we're not going to be traveling for Thanksgiving this year. So, and then one of the other things that we always do is that my husband on a school day, sometime in the first week of December, our tradition is that he takes off a whole day, and whether we are shopping online at home or this started actually when we were first married and we lived in Minnesota, and we would go to the Mall of America together, and we would do all of our Christmas shopping in one day.
Oh my goodness.
And it was a marathon, and but we would do it in the middle of the week when it was less crowded, and we tried to do it at the beginning of December, again, when it was less crowded. And he would take a day off. He was in graduate school at the time. And so he would choose a day that was kind of light of classes before he got to finals. And we would go and do our Christmas shopping. And of course, then when he was in graduate school and I was a teacher supporting us, our shopping list was very limited. Right. And our budget was really limited, which was when I started to do things like the budgeting tool that's in here. That's how I figured out how to do that. We would sit down and say, okay, we have $300 to spend on Christmas, and we have 20 gifts to buy. So who do we spend the most money on? And who do we spend the least amount of money, but we want that to be something that's thoughtful? And that's how I started really working on thoughtful Christmas giving. And there are lots of ideas in here, but and I always have one of the things on Mid-Modern Mama that's really important to me, and probably my favorite giving list to put together every year, are gifts for under $15. And I think that's really hard, challenging, exciting, and fun shopping to do. But it all goes back to, I mean, when our Christmas budget was really small, and we would always say, we're not doing gifts for each other. We're just going to give to our families. So what are we going to do? Those gifts for under $15, and a lot of them are under $10 every year. That has a real important place in my heart, because I know lots of people who, that is I have lots of gifts I have to buy for under $15.
Yeah. And then the hard thing comes, part of this is writing it down for this year so that you how many gifts are there out there that are meaningful that are only $15? So then, making sure that you don't buy, the same candle and pair of socks for your sister-in-law.
Right.
The next year or whatever. Exactly.
And nobody wants a bunch of nonsense in their house. I mean, let's be real.
I've got enough of nonsense as it is. That's why this green screen is behind me. I don't need to see all the nonsense that is there.
It's just kind of the way it is. We don't want our houses filled with stuff that isn't meaningful, and we don't want our houses filled with stuff in general. So finding things that are meaningful, helpful, inexpensive, all of those things are really important. And so, that's where these two things work together, keeping track of people's interests, their the things that are important to them, and then being able to find things that are that fit within your budget. Because I will say the worst feeling in the world is opening a credit card statement in January and realizing that things got way out of control during Christmas.
Right.
Because that just is another thing that robs the joy of the holidays.
Right. Now all of a sudden you're starting the year with in the hole.
Exactly. And the financial reckoning that comes with that. And I will tell you, I have been there. I have done that. It's super uncomfortable. And so, working out your budget, there's a whole budgeting worksheet in here, but figuring out what your Christmas budget is and being honest about that. No matter what tool you use, but really being sure if you can spend $200 on Christmas, so then let's figure out how you allocate that money so that you feel good about the gifts that you give, and also stick to your budget so that in January, when those statements come, you're not suddenly stuck paying for Christmas the entire year, or Hanukkah, or whatever your gift giving tradition is. That's really important. And a hard lesson that I learned a long time ago. Not the easy way.
So I'm gonna probably have to scoot here pretty soon. But I thank you for sharing your journaling expertise, your little tips and tricks, and I might have to get one of those little photo. What is it? The Canon.
Oh, the Ivy. I love them. They're so fun.
I might have to get me one of those.
There is the link down at the bottom. The scroll down at the bottom includes that and a whole bunch of other fun things too. So
cool.
Thank you so much for being my guest today. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
It's always fun to talk with you, but it's especially fun to talk planning with you. So I really appreciate it. And thank you to all of you who've been following along on Amazon and listening to our conversation. Again, if you have questions and they haven't been answered, it's because I can't see them, and I apologize for that. But I hope you'll message me on Instagram or on my website, and I'm happy to answer those for you. Somebody asked me, why am I getting my items in 6 to 7 days? And actually, I am sorry, I can't answer that. I don't actually work for Amazon, so I can't answer that question for you. And thanks to James W. for following. Actually, I'd encourage you to just contact Amazon's customer service and they can help you with that. Holly, thank you so much. It was so fun to see you.
Yes.
And I will talk to you again soon. Thank you so much for joining us. And I hope you will hit the like and subscribe buttons, of course. And we will be back again soon.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.